more diversity in our hiring, it was like the challenge was you put out the job pages and stuff, and then we'd even have a recruiting events. And the reality is, no matter what we tried to do, if the pool of people that we're trying to target is disproportionately more like white males, like it's really hard to say, like, you literally have to start saying these people might be very skilled and we just need to ignore them to go focus on a different group. And that's not to say that there aren't skilled people in the other groups, but like statistically, if one group of people has a higher representation, there's probably going to be more people in that group. So it's really cool to hear that boot camps are starting to change that up. I don't know. Do you know about colleges and universities, if like, oh, that trend of that is changing as well, or is that still like very much kind of locked in, like mostly dudes?
We might be getting marginal benefits. And in fact, I think we are, because of things like scholarships and things like that. But those are marginal benefits. In the traditional computer science 4-year programs, they're still overwhelmingly white and male.
Interesting.
And there is some actual reason to think that there is real cultural problems in some of those programs. That even like endow poor mental models and things like that lead to performance problems later on. And I think one of the ways that you can see this in the traditional pipeline, we might call it, which might take you from a CS degree to tier 1 with the whiteboard interviews, very traditional approach, this concept of competitive programming. And you can see that competitive programmers are not above average engineers, actually. So there's this misleading correlate, basically. And so that's one of those places where an overemphasis on competition can actually be harmful to team dynamics. And so that's just one example where some of the traditional approach is harmful, but I actually don't like to speak against the traditional approach. I think if we can get the new practices right, then the market will crowd out, the old things will just become obsolete over time. And there's some really, really cool things going on with hybrid learning and basically coding boot camps. They're getting a lot of things right. What I would advise employers to do is increase their source quantity from boot camps relative to colleges.
Interesting.
On average, and that's not against all colleges. There are particular colleges that have like programs that support diversity. So take this and apply it with nuance to your organization. But I think on average, if we can have more bootcamp graduates hired, we'll have more diverse teams. I think that's really uncontroversial.
That's very interesting.